Picture this. It's 11 p.m. during a heavy snowfall. Your community has a per push snow removal contract with a clear trigger height. But your snow contract vendor for your community won't dispatch crews without explicit approval from one condominium or HOA board member. Their crews are already working throughout the area, but your sidewalks and streets remain buried because that one board member that's the point of contact for the vendor is on a flight with no cell service and didn't redelegate that work to another board member. Meanwhile, the snow contract vendor is frantically texting, "Can we plow? Do you want ice melt? Where should we apply the ice melt?" Residents are slipping around, cars are stuck, everyone's frustration is mounting by the minute. This check with me bottleneck is destroying communities everywhere. And today I'm going to show you how to avoid this level of micromanagement. Lots of communities struggle with processes that funnel through one person. This happens in associations of all sizes, where a single board member or a couple board members feel that they should have a greater level of control than really is effective and practical. And so they need to personally approve routine operational decisions. For instance, you can't pay any invoices without having written approval from the board if you're a management company. You can't shovel our snow unless you get a text from me. You can't proceed with a work order even though you're staring at the resident right in the face. You've got your whole team right there. You're ready to go, but you can't do it until you get 3 bids and get written approval from the board for routine maintenance stuff. Now, keep in mind, this isn't about control. It's about creating systems that work whether specific individuals are available or not. Residents' problems shouldn't have to wait because someone's enjoying a well-deserved vacation. They have their phone shut off, they're sleeping, they're eating. A simple and powerful tool for boards is what I call the bus test. It's very straightforward. If that key person that's fictitious for our purposes, but in reality, these people exist, and we've seen them, and we've seen how they impact communities, and that's why this topic is so critical for communities to understand. If your key person, we'll call them just a key person, that person can be nameless and faceless, but if that key person that I've described became unavailable today, could your community still function tomorrow, or does everything come to a screeching halt? It's not about planning for tragedy, it's about building resilience. Strong communities have processes that don't depend on specific individuals. Snow contracts should clearly spell out when to plow, even if it's a per push contract. They shouldn't require a special text message. Emergency protocols should enable quick responses without waiting for a board president approval. Payment systems should include backup signers when the treasurer is unavailable. You got to be able to move on this stuff. 1 day, 2 days, 1 hour later is often too late to have an effective system. You've got to have a level of trust that goes beyond check with me. Check with me cannot be a step in your process if you're a board member. If it is, then you're an ineffective board member. You should quit. If you can't get over that, you should quit because you're hurting your community. Even if all the other elements are in place, you're a good fiduciary, you're bringing great skills, you're a good teammate, people like you, you should still quit because you're a detriment to your community. If you can't get over that whole micromanagement, I've got to control everything so tightly that I can't trust anyone else. So I want you to think about this. How can communities fix this problem? First, look at where things tend to get stuck when someone's unavailable. Those are the red flags. Each community is a little bit different. When you have a micromanagement board, you're going to get stuck in different areas. Sometimes it's finance. Maybe you've been burned in the past. Maybe your vendors for your past management company weren't being held to account. Maybe you had double payments in the past for things and your management company wasn't on its game. So now you're going to hold the current management company to this standard that you don't trust them either. I want you to think about replacing those individual checkpoints with clear standards. This is very hard, by the way, very hard. To be able to go from check with me to creating standards requires forethought. If you had to create a system that was going to replace check with me, could you do it? The answer is absolutely you could. Absolutely. You just got to think about it, and it's very hard. And for people who are predisposed to maintaining a higher level of control, this is going to be excruciatingly difficult. But you can do it. I've seen it done over and over again. It comes down to, do you trust the people that you're doing business with? If you don't, remove them. You shouldn't have to part ways. Now, as a board member, I wanted to say, if you are a board member, again, who can't get over check with me as a process, you should quit. I'll stay by that. Absolutely, you should step away. You're not an effective board member. You never will be if you can't get past that. But I'm trying to give you a path to getting over this. And that comes down to design a system. Use your engineering prowess to sit down and say, what can take this manual system to an automatic system? Well, you've got to be able to look at a piece of paper or a digital document and say, if this fits this profile, proceed. Management companies should be authorized to pay bills. Vendors should be authorized to do work when they have people out there. Even if the cost is going to be higher than anticipated, you have to trust that your management company has your back. And they understand the difference between, let's say you have a $500 max that your management company can spend. But the vendor says, look, it's going to be about $900. I can get it done right now. I've got a team here. You got to trust your management company to say, let's get this done. Okay, yeah, you exceeded that amount, but your management companies should be trusted to spend a few $100 extra in that circumstance. Residents happy, vendors down the road, they get it all squared away. You don't have issues in front of you. Now the issues are behind you. That's what you want. So instead of having your treasurer give an approval for every invoice, try to put some triggers in place that's going to let the management company, again, use its common sense, clear out your bills so that they don't have a bunch of stuff piled up. You can't imagine the disaster of having a community like I've described. And again, I'm trying to use some graphic details from a board standpoint about the chaos that board members can create who fall into this micromanagement world. If you as a management company can't clear out issues for a community, and you've got one community where issues pile up, I've seen small communities have 500 emails in an inbox of a management company. 500 unanswered emails. And this is a management company who was working hard, outstanding manager, good support staff. But because the board had all this crosstalk and they couldn't approve anything, or they wouldn't give automatic approval for anything, you get stuck in that situation. You can't have a client as a management company who's got that kind of backlog and it's all correctable and the client won't correct it. That's not a client that you want to have as a management company. And you as a community should want to have good management companies work for you, and you shouldn't want to have your own residents be suffering under the weight of your micromanagement. So this documentation is absolutely essential. I'll leave it up to you to think about, what does that mean for your specific situation? Take a step back from the 100-foot viewpoint, figure out what that means, fix your problem if you're a micromanagement board. So your community does deserve systems that work consistently, at least your residents do. Not ones that depend on specific people being available 24/7. You don't want to do that. You're volunteers. You're supposed to be strategists, not operational points of contact. So take some time this month, look at your processes, really reflect. Do you have tons of emails that are going back and forth about things that you should be automatically approving? Find those bottlenecks and run them through the bus test that I brought up earlier and redesign them for resilience. If you found this perspective valuable, we invite you to connect with us. Facebook viewers, like our page and follow us for regular updates. Feel free to message us directly with your questions or community challenges. Instagram viewers, hit follow and feel free to DM us with your questions or community challenges. YouTube viewers, subscribe to our channel and check out the video description for helpful links. Visit our website to discover our thought leadership content, books, and resources that can transform your community management approach. Whether you're dealing with the challenges we discussed today or other community issues, we're here to help. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.